welcome to another episode of This Week in Social Media, a show that always grabs 2 beers before we slide into victory. I'm back. I was away for a week. Thank you, Amanda, for filling in. As you may have known, I had my first kid. Yeah, pretty exciting.
Woot.
Congrats. Woot, woot. I gotta say, it was a terrifying experience. I was really concerned about it, but it went really well. Lori actually had the kid in about 20 minutes.
Awesome.
There was a little bit lead up to it, but literally, like, from the point that we started pushing, it was 20 minutes. The kid was just, I don't know, there's that old joke that, like, you know, you spend 9 months stuck in there and then the rest of your life trying to get back in. I think that only applies to guys, actually. But in any case, I'm back. I'm a dad now, which I'm very happy and proud to say. We have a beautiful girl in line with the show. If you'd like to follow her, you just go to Percival Spawn on Twitter, @PercivalSpawn, and at some point we'll get a good name on there for her. Honestly, though, I couldn't really figure it out because Charlotte's taken, Charlotte Percival's too long. Damn Twitter and their restrictions.
I still think Percival Swan is a great handle.
I like it too. So.
I hope that she grows up to be one of these like horror zombie fanatics like me.
Might, yeah.
And then she'll just be like, thanks, Mom and Dad, you know?
Her mom is a former goth, so it's possible.
It's bound to happen. It's in her blood.
It is,
it's
absolutely.
in her blood.
Her blood. As always, we're joined here. Let's do the introductions before we get off on a tangent. Mike Bracco, how have you been?
Nice to have you back.
Thank you.
Thought you'd be gone for another week, but...
I was going to be, and it's funny, a bunch of my coworkers just tweeted at me. They're like, oh, I'm so glad you could join the show, but can't make it into the office. Coworkers, I will be back Monday with a vengeance. I promise you that. A lot of people in the office here are commenting on your shirt. Do you have anything to say about it?
I don't have anything to say on my shirt. It's an orange shirt.
It's an orange shirt.
It's a little bright.
It looks nice. Is it Burberry? Because you got a little thing going on here.
Yeah, it is a little bit. A little Burberry action.
Little Burb.
When I walked into the show, I thought that there were people sitting in your guys' seats because there was so much color. And then I'm like, whoa.
It's funny. So I actually was in my closet and I was looking for today's outfit and I was like, oh great, I'm gonna put on my black shirt, and then I realized if I do that with this whole thing, it'll be like floating head and we just can't have that, so I grabbed the color for once in my life. Of course, we have Judalina.
Yes, the Judalina on Twitter.
@Judalina on Twitter, whose shirt is not as scary as Mike's, although it's a little frightening.
Yeah, I'm doing the serial killer shirt going here today.
Yeah, a little bit, a little scary. We have a great guest today. His name is Alex. I hate to say his last name because I'm afraid I'm going to butcher it. Does anyone else want to take a shot at it?
Nope.
I should have connected with Alex ahead of time.
It's spelled Iskold, if you want to Google him.
Alex, we'll get you in here in a minute so you can tell us how to pronounce your name. And he is with GetGlue. We're going to learn a lot about GetGlue. I've been seeing all my friends play it. They just did a new app with Myspace. They've got a lot of momentum going. We're going to learn a little bit more. It's not a location-based service, but it's something that allows you to check into your favorite entertainment destinations. We talked a little bit about them last week, and we'll learn more today. Let's get right into it. The big topic that we want to talk about in the first video we want to throw up for everyone. It's epic. It's the Twitter movie trailer. Do you guys have anything to say on this, or should we run right into that video?
Awesome.
It's pretty epic.
It's so awesome.
We should just get into it.
Yeah, just enjoy.
Please roll that video. This is the Twitter movie trailer.
I don't care if it was. I want to tweet it all. I tweet on the body. I tweet in the snow. I want you to retweet when I'm not online. We're all part of Twitter.
I need to create a way to blog that is as random and incoherent as writing on a bathroom wall.
Why?
Because normal blogging is tedious and dumb and leads to fully formed ideas. People want to have narcissistic conversations with total strangers about the everyday minutia of their lives. Why not build them a service that does that?
Twitter restricts you to only 140 words per post?
Characters. 140 characters.
They're saying that Twitter is nothing but a bunch of idiots and celebrities talking about what they had for breakfast.
I know what it says.
Is it true?
The fail whale is showing up.
What? No, what is the fail whale? Why do you always go limp when we have fights? If you put a TW in front of any word, it makes it infinitely cooler. Check this out. Hey, can I get a Twisky? I didn't ask for twatter.
If Twitter was as useless and as boring as they say, then somebody would have tweeted it. Your retweets could have seriously confused all of my followers.
Our followers!
You're being accused of intentionally dumbing down the internet.
Hashtag!
And enabling individuals to annoy their friends without any consequences.
Call 911!
Do they have a Twitter?
As for the charges, I would like to respond with the next public tweet. The baby just pooped. #turtlealert.
I'm sorry?
Yes,
I don't understand. What you just said is completely idiotic.
exactly. That's the point.
We're all part of Twitter.
Rated awesome.
Hey everyone, and thank you.
Yeah, it's rated awesome, and it's definitely awesome. It's very well done. I don't know if you guys noticed, there was a little appearance by Shira Lazar in there.
I saw that. I tweeted her.
Yeah, good. I know. It's funny. I actually sent her a DM recently. I was like, Shira, you're everywhere.
Yeah.
I know you were everywhere before, but now you're really everywhere. So she's a former host of This Week in YouTube and a friend of the show. So congrats to Shira. She looks good. And yeah, I mean, that was hilarious. People in the chat room were basically saying that's better than the Myspace spoof. I have to agree.
Yeah.
The production value was awesome. The soundtrack kicked ass. Well done.
Yeah,
Bravo
the
all
acting,
around.
I think the lead really channeled some of the Jesse Eisenberg there, you know?
I think so too, and it really. I love the line like about it's everyone tweeting about the useless minutia of their life, and really what says Twitter better than that? So yeah, great job. It was done. I want to say by Indie Mogul. Please tell me if I'm wrong on that. Do you guys know?
I think that was right. Yeah.
Okay, just we want to give credit where credit's due. So great job too. We were so excited about that. We actually forgot to thank our sponsor. PickClick has sponsored the first 10 episodes of the show. I know we're in episode 11, but we did want to give them one final shout out to say thank you, PickClick. I'd love it if our audience could get on Twitter and say thank you at PickClick for sponsoring the show. They pay for my expensive shirt habit. We need that money to continue the these $150 shirts as well. And before I left, actually, we had users go on PickClick and try and find us something to give as a gift to Judalina. And we got it. They were very cute little Twitter earrings, which of course I left at home. I apologize.
It's okay. You're distracted by babies.
A little distracted by babies and poop, which once again in that Twitter trailer, I have tweeted about my baby pooping.
Have you?
Jeez, yeah, they're right. God, that thing was so spot on.
How did I miss that in my stream?
Well, I actually tweeted about how I'm not terrified of the baby's diapers because I'll admit it, I was terrified and told my wife I was very terrified. And once I got into it, it wasn't that bad until we got a big surprise, and now I'm terrified again. So,
yeah. TMI.
I know.
TMI.
Way too much for this episode. We're really going off the rails. So once again, let's thank you, PickClick. Audience, if you could, send them out a shout out. Go to their site. Load it a few hundred times just to get some page views for them. That's all we ask, really. If you're interested in sponsoring the show, you want to send an email to mo@thisweekend.com. That's mo@thisweekend.com. Thank you, Mo, for getting us Mo money as well. Should we talk about anything else? You guys have other topics you want to talk about? Or we want to bring in our guest here.
Let's bring in the guest.
Yeah, let's roll up to the guest.
Great. Alex, are you there?
Yes.
Alex, please let me know how you pronounce your last name. I apologize for not figuring that out ahead of time.
No problem. Iskold.
Iskold. Now, what is the origin of that name?
That's a good question. I actually don't know. I'm personally from Ukraine, way back when, but I don't know. I think it's some sort of European last name.
It's great. You're with. Sorry about that. You're with GetGlue, and I wanted you. We have a video which you guys have put together, which is really nice. I think it breaks it down well. We're going to show that, but really quick, can you just tell us briefly what is GetGlue?
Sure. It's a new social network for entertainment. People can check in and share with each other TV shows that they're watching, movies, what books they're reading, what music they're listening to, and can see their friends, like on any social network, can get suggestions for new stuff to watch, and then also get pretty awesome rewards from some top entertainment brands.
Interesting. All right, we're going to definitely learn a little bit more about that. You guys probably spent a lot of money on this video, so let's cue that video up to get a more in-depth look of kind of what you guys are doing.
Glue is the easiest way to find your next favorite thing. Click thumbs up on the movies, books, and music you like to quickly build your profile on Glue. Once you've started building your profile, you'll receive personalized suggestions for movies, music, and books. The more you use Glue, the better the suggestions become. Your suggestions are updated in real time, making the most recommended items bubble up to the top. Every week, GetGlue filters the new releases, showing you the new items that you'll enjoy most and making sure that you never miss another new release by a director, artist, or author you love. You can also use Glue to explore what your friends have liked. You can read their reviews, browse their profiles to discover new things, or discuss old favorites. As you collect the things you like, you'll be rewarded with hot stickers for your profile page. If you lead the conversation for a book, album, or movie, you can be recognized as the guru of things you love. Sign up for free at getglue.com and start finding your next favorite thing.
Very well done. Tell us, I always love to know when I talk with entrepreneurs and startups, and I think our audience does, how did you have the idea? How did you guys get started? And of course, how did you get funding? Who paid for all that wonderful UI and experience?
Sure. Well, GetGlue.com launched in November of 2009. And prior to that, we kind of had a similar concept, but it only exists as a browser add-on. And, you know, I think that it's just sort of a take on an old idea that we want to know what TV shows our friends watching, what books they're reading, what music they're listening to. And, you know, when we started looking around, there really wasn't a place to kind of do this. I mean, Facebook is fantastic at connecting us to friends, but it's about people. Twitter is about news. Location services like Foursquare, they focus on, connecting people at location. And what we want to do is we want to connect people around the entertainment that they're consuming. And in terms of funding, we're really fortunate to have two great New York City venture firms invest in us. Our investors are Union Square Ventures and RRE Ventures.
That's great. So Union Square is Fred Wilson, right? Is Union Square?
Fred Wilson is part of Union Square. Our board member's name is Brad Burnham.
Great. Yeah, Fred's sort of the kind of rock star East Coast investor, so it's a great company to be aligned with. You did talk about Foursquare as well. These are obviously location-based stuff is very popular. I think they've kind of brought this idea of checking into a much larger audience. Now, you guys, you're checking into entertainment and TV. Can you tell us like kind of what that means? So I don't watch a lot of TV, but I'm into True Blood. Like, what would the flow be? I would go to your site and I would check into my True Blood show and I would share that with my friends from there?
Yeah, absolutely. And I also have a demo for you guys of the iPhone app. We can do this maybe a little bit later. But yeah, it's actually a very similar concept to checking into location, checking into the entertainment that you're consuming. There's been a whole bunch of studies that there's a rising phenomenon called second screen, which is, people are watching TV, but they're also holding either a computer or a phone most often in their hand. And what they're doing is they're actually interacting with their friends. They're expressing their opinion about, what they're consuming. And people are absolutely thrilled to share that they are watching, specific shows or that they're listening to music or reading books because, it's deeply personal. Entertainment is just something that, all of us enjoy very much. And, sharing it is quite natural.
Yeah. Well, I've been seeing that with a lot of networks pushing towards having more specialty web-only content in order to keep their audiences continuously engaged. Now, when you check into a show, do you check into an episode or do you check into are there options where you can run comments on, like, let's say you Sean just watched the most recent True Blood episode and he wants to comment on maybe one of the vampires taking their shirts off. Can he do that? Or is it just broader sort of by a show?
That's spot on. That's exactly what vampires were doing last Sunday. So yeah, I mean it's super simple. Let me see if I can show you a demo of this. Hang on one sec. Okay. Are you able to see my screen?
Yep. Well, for a second there.
Okay.
Yep.
How about now?
Yep.
There you go.
Go ahead.
Perfect. Okay. So this is basically an emulator of the iPhone app. And you can see that there's a bunch of choices here. I can select what I'm doing. Either I'm watching a show or reading a book or listening to music. So let's say I'm watching a show, and here you see the list of all the recent shows that I watched. So let's go with True Blood. I am also a big fan.
Are you really watching Pretty Little Liars, Alex?
Actually, I'm doing a little bit of research, so you caught me. I actually have to research all the shows that I wouldn't typically watch, but getting some good insight. So look, this is super simple. This is just a sort of stream of everybody who's been checking in, and as you can see, this is pretty high velocity of people, like 2 minutes ago, 4 minutes ago, 6 minutes ago. And then you can also see comments that people left on getglue.com.
Okay.
So what happens is I can go and make a comment here, and it's super easy to share to Twitter or Facebook. I can click check-in, And what happens is it tells me how many other users are checked in. You know, there's 60 people checked in right now into Trueblood. That's pretty amazing. I get a whole bunch of points for doing check-in, get some extra points for leaving a comment. And then if I were to earn any awards, they would show up here as well.
Neat.
So then you take all of these check-ins and they all show up in the stream. Let me reload this real quick. So you can see that on the top, here are all of my friends. These are the people who I subscribe to, kind of like people I follow on Twitter. Mm-hmm. And then if I scroll down, you can see everybody who is just checking into Glue. So here's a person checked into, listening to music. Here's a person watching Hung, and so forth. So it's super easy. Here's somebody, watching Scott Pilgrim, and so forth. So just like really easy, very intuitive and familiar interface for checking into your entertainment. You can also have conversation with people, like you can reply to their check-ins. And one other thing I want to show you is you can earn digital and physical awards called stickers. And what's really neat about our stickers is after you earn 7 of them, there's an option to get free copies of the actual stickers. We would mail them to you.
I like that.
Yeah, people absolutely loving this. They're sticking them on laptops, desks, and even dogs, which I personally disapprove of.
That's great.
So, yep.
Yeah. So
and let me see if I can switch back here real quick.
Where's your face?
I don't know. How about now? You guys able to see me?
Not yet. We'll get that figured out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're trying to figure that out, Alex. I just was curious. So you guys have been in the news a bunch lately, between the iPhone app that was released a little while back, and then you guys just made an announcement about Android. What does your user base look like? How many users do you have, and what's the growth been since you guys made the transition to mobile apps?
We've seen some pretty fantastic growth since we launched the website in November of 2009. We have over 500,000 users, and in the months of June, we've generated more than 5 million unique ratings and check-ins. So that's been, it's a very, very significant number, and the growth has accelerated since. So we've done even better in July, and it's been progressing pretty rapidly.
So I'm really curious, how do these shows get into your system? Do you have to broker deals in advance with them in order for them to get generated in there, or are you guys aggregating your data from other places? Or
So we've signed up over a dozen top entertainment partners so far. So you kind of have like 2 types of rewards on GetGlue. Some of them are the ones that we've done on our own. Yeah. But the most exciting ones are the rewards from our partners. Mm-hmm. So stickers from Showtime, HBO, Universal. Actually, we have a unique exclusive Scott Pilgrim sticker that Universal just tweeted about. So all of these rewards come from these big brands.
Cool.
I'm curious. I noticed on your site, publishers can place widgets and other things on their site. What functionality does that bring to a site if they add widgets and other things to a blog and stuff like that?
Well, there's a couple of ways that we're surfacing Glue. You can enjoy the experience on the website, but you can also grab mobile app like iPhone, and starting next week you can actually grab Android app as well. And then you can also place widgets on your website, and then users are able to kind of like interact with the widget, and it's part of the GetGlue network, so they can see their friends and what they think about the specific TV show or a movie or a book, and they can like comment on it, get suggestions for related movies. So it's basically just for us to be able to like plug into different use cases for entertainment consumption.
We got a few questions in the chat room. I want to get those before they scroll on by into Never Never Land. How does this compare to Clicker? Was one of the questions someone had.
There's a bunch of services in the space that are competitive with us. I think Clicker is one of them. Go Miso is another great service. There's also Philo, there's Turnerfish. So there's a bunch of different services that offer social entertainment, and like offer check-ins. I'd like to think that we're probably, at this point, bigger than these other services. Another differentiating factor is we're not just about TV. TV is just one of our categories, but we also support movies, books, music, video games, movie stars, and we think that has broader appeal because entertainment is really kind of like cross-vertical, not just specific to TV.
Speaking of competitors, I think the 500 million person elephant in the room that everyone talks about is Facebook. They're talking about doing check-in and location. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that it's an issue? Have you talked with them? Do you guys have a partnership with them? I assume you guys syndicate with them. Like, what are your thoughts in general on Facebook getting into the location-based service or the check-in business?
Yeah, I mean, on one hand, you can't ignore something like Facebook because it's giant. On the other hand, you can't spend your life worrying about it either. We are really good at entertainment. It doesn't appear that Facebook focuses on that at the moment. I don't know what their plans are for location check-ins. We're not in any conversation with them, so I really don't know. But, we'll deal with it when it becomes a reality.
Yeah, Facebook, I would argue maybe they're getting more into entertainment these days. I see a lot more with celebrity. They just launched their live channel. I mean, I would agree. Obviously, I work at Myspace, and we like to think of ourselves as an entertainment destination. I know that you guys did an app for us as well. How is that going?
Yeah, we did do an app for MySpace. It's been absolutely fantastic. I mean, the app is so popular, and I think something close to like 60,000 users have it installed in about I want to say a week or 10 days. And I think that it's a most popular app in movies and music, like most popular recent app. And I think it even made like top 10 or top 20 popular all the time. And it's a really simple app. What it does is it allows you to, rate your favorites, and then they appear on your MySpace profile. And it's a very slick widget. And I think people are just enjoying, having it on their MySpace profile and showing their friends what they're into.
Are you able to disclose, you have the website, I'm sure you have a Facebook app, you have a MySpace app, you have the iPhone app. Like, what's your biggest contributing source? I'm going to take a wild guess and say it's the iPhone app. Is that correct? And can you say?
Yeah, sure. We actually don't have a Facebook app.
Okay.
So the biggest source of check-ins is iPhone, and the biggest source of ratings is the website. We have, basically 80% of all the ratings are still occurring on the website, and about 70% of all check-ins are coming from the iPhone. So that's not surprising because it's sort of like two totally different use cases. I'm on the go versus I'm bored. And that kind of like makes sense.
Yeah. I kind of want to toss this out for you guys as well. Is it pretty standard now to watch TV with the iPhone? It's like controller, iPhone. I'm noticing this trend. Do you do that, or is that just my wife and me? I mean,
yeah, I tend to have ADD when I can't just watch something. So I'm always with a phone or iPad, general or laptop.
I'm a good hot mess because I watch all my TV online. So I'm running multiple screens, and trying to watch True Blood in the background on the left-hand side while I run Twitter app on the right-hand side. But I'm a big laptop television fan. I don't really like to use my iPhone in the house. So I understand where I could see the website being very attractive as far as check-in, because if I'm watching TV, I'm going to run the website directly. I'm not going to be using my iPhone for that. Zap my battery. So why do that?
Okay.
But I'm old school.
You're battery conscious.
But what I love about your guys' site is that you do have it all aggregated. I'm tired. I am personally starting to feel social media syndrome overwhelmment, and I don't want to have one check-in site for television, one check-in site for music, one check-in site for video games. I love to see it all in one location. It came up in the chat room, but do you guys? We're seeing the big deals being brokered for television and for movies, which makes sense. Are you starting to have more pop up on the music and video games and sports side as well? What can we expect to see from that angle?
We are in conversations for some really exciting deals in music. We already also have all major book publishers on board. So guys like Random House, Penguin, Simon and Schuster, and all the other big guys are on board. We haven't done much in games. We're continuing to focus on, mostly on TV and movie partnerships at this point, but I think music ones should be coming up shortly too.
Yeah, well, and, that's the natural effect of where the money is. There's more money in studio television and in movies than there is in music and video games. And, well, I don't know about video games.
A lot of money in video games.
Yeah, where are those guys putting their money?
What about those deals? You have done the deals. We talked last week about HBO. How does that work? And is that something that you guys actually make revenue on, or is it more of a branding thing for you?
It's sort of a mix. Mostly typical deals are co-promotion at this point. And we work with partners like HBO to design specific set of rewards that fits sort of like their audience and excites them. And this is kind of like really a partnership where we work together to figure out what makes sense. And then we promote it through our channels, and they promote it through their channels. Like if you look, for example, at Universal Studios Twitter right now, you'll see that they're promoting our app and asking their fans to check in and to unlock the Scott Pilgrim sticker. And obviously this is a great brand association for us. Also, we're on target next week to announce kind of more partnerships with some of these bigger places where they'll be promoting us on their home pages. And again, that's basically like great brand awareness for us.
Sure. Yeah, good co-branding drives traffic, drives awareness. I definitely get that. And maybe down the road you can, send them a big fat bill for something.
I think I'll have to eventually, yes.
We talked about iPhone. What about other stuff? What about Android? Are you guys going to get in that space as well too?
Yeah, I have a funny story to tell about this. Since we launched iPhone app, literally every day we get dozens of angry emails and tweets. And
those Android users are angry. Yeah.
The Android users are super angry. They're like, what are you thinking? How come you have iPhone app? Where is our Android app? What's going on? And people are seriously pissed. So we had, last week we announced a beta, and within like 3 hours we had 1,000 people signed up. And I'm happy to announce that on Tuesday there will be official Android app released, and that's we're really excited about that.
That's great.
We're also announcing a kind of bare bones mobile site so that people with other phones can just go to getglue.com and check in. It's very basic, but it's really functional and kind of like fits the use case. We're looking at BlackBerry, and iPad app is coming in about 3 weeks.
Lovely. I like that. I always appreciate a bare bones version, because I have so many friends that are just inept when it comes to any kind of technology, and something simple will still keep them involved.
Yeah, I saw another question in the chat room I thought was kind of interesting is, can they make their own pages, or are they limited to what you guys put into the system? The example they give is, Team Edward, Team Jacob. Would you create a page for that, or is it really more centered around structured data, Twilight, maybe his name, and so forth?
Yeah, we have lots of pages on GetGlue that are generated kind of like algorithmically, and a lot of stuff from like Wikipedia, a lot of stuff from other places. We currently don't allow users to sort of input their own data in a way like on Foursquare, for example. If you can't find a place, you can just sort of type in where you are, and then it lets you check in. We haven't done that, and the main reason is we're really excited about not fragmenting the user experience so that you are really connected to your friends around the actual TV show or a movie and so forth. We're worried that if this kind of like free format, then there's a lot of like noise in the data. But we do have something super cool, which is we have a concept of a guru who is essentially an elected smartest fan for any given object. So there's a guru for True Blood who commented, and people voted this person to be like the most useful, and that person actually has an ability to tweak the page and to add related shows, to tweak the description and do other cool things.
Oh, nice.
Great. It's like a super user, or I guess the Foursquare comparison would be would be a mayor, I guess, someone that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Although in Foursquare, as a mayor, you don't really get much. I've got a free meal, but that's about it.
10% off Starbucks is the biggest thing I've got, but listen, I'll take that.
I don't know. You guys have any more questions?
Yeah, so I'm just interested in general. You mentioned the deals with publishers, but where do you see longer term, sort of where you're going as a company from a monetization standpoint? I was going to mention, I saw this in the chat. Someone was mentioning Google TV, which your data that you're compiling about recommendations and preferences could certainly be extremely valuable for something like Google TV, which could offer very targeted ads if they had access to your data. So I'm just curious about what your longer term strategy is.
Yeah, I'll mention two things. I mean, the thing that is really exciting is the taste graph around entertainment, how people connect, what information they're consuming. I just think that this is amazing, data set that is also, very precious, and we're kind of like very conscious of that. What excites me the most is building a place where people are rewarded for participation. I really think that that's one of the biggest concepts that should come out of this wave of innovation. What I want to see is the equation where, people can start redeeming Glue points for discounts. So imagine, if you are a True Blood fan and you checked in and you commented and you earned, a bunch of points, you can actually redeem this for a coupon and get 10% off, like a T-shirt on HBO. Or, if you're a big book fan and you get a whole bunch of book points, you can, maybe get some discount at Barnes & Noble. I really think that is sort of like the right equation to incentivize people, to check in and to reward them with coupons.
Yeah, the chat room loved your question. I thought that was a great question too. And it's funny how long Hollywood and these companies have been thinking, how do we merge these two into some horrible hybrid animal that consumes the world and it's interactive and it's ITV and all these things. It's funny, I look at what you guys are doing in Google TV and I'm like, wait a minute, that makes a lot of sense now. It doesn't interfere too much with my experience watching it, but allows it supplements a layer of interactivity and rewards, which I think if we're looking at things like Groupon and all these other things that are kind of emerging, this is huge. This is what people want.
Well, you could even, what I could even see with Google TV is, one issue I've always had is you have to actively do something to, I have to like it or I have to check in. Whereas with Google TV, you could have something running in the background that just watches what you're doing and then automatically checks you into a show or does stuff like that. So
yeah, I always wonder if that's our next step, and maybe Foursquare is a good example. Is I have to check in. Well, maybe I want to go on autopilot and just check me in as I move and really, really track me. Maybe I want no privacy at all.
That's really scary to me.
Or even just if I'm in a place for a certain amount of period of time, just give me a push notification. You're here. Do you want to check in?
Yeah,
yes.
I like that. Okay, I'm on board for that. Oh, there could be some accidents though. Oops, I accidentally checked into the porn shop that's literally right next door, but since I'm standing on the street corner in front of it, it says geographically that I'm in there. Okay.
We know that you always accidentally walk in there too. It's happening. I don't know why. I thought about that too. You think about Blippi. Now wait a minute. What if Blippi and Location got together? Then they could see where I purchased something and turn pass it on as well. That's great. I don't know. Do you guys have any more questions for him?
No, I think everyone should check it out. I've used it casually, but it's definitely an interesting service. I've definitely picked up on some things that I wouldn't have otherwise found. So
I gotta say, I don't know if it's because he did an app for us, but everyone in my office is using it. Everyone is very interested. Everyone is having a great time. They're broadcasting about it. So there's something there. I encourage everyone to go check it out. I want to kind of leave with this though. What's next for you guys? Do you have anything you want to talk about? Anything you want to tease out there?
Well, I think that we have some pretty fun stuff coming, between Android and iPad. It's going to be a busy fall for us, and can't really comment on any other releases yet, but I think stay tuned.
You can't tell us all your dark secrets. Come on, that's very, very good. You guys have a well-oiled PR machine. Tell us. Let's do a breakdown of the stats. How many people work there, and where are you guys located?
We're New York based. We're 15 people.
That's great. So you probably don't have a PR person.
We all kind of mix and match.
That's great. Kind of what you have to do at a startup. Well, Alex, thanks again for taking the time to talk with us, answer our questions. Everyone, please go visit GetGlue.com. You can find them on Twitter at GetGlue. There's the Myspace app, and of course, they're in the App Store as well. Thanks again, man.
Thanks a lot.
Take care.
So I have to say to all of you viewers who are watching on iTunes and maybe are not watching live, you really need to start watching live because the chat room has become a comedy show.
I'm so glad we're doing the show on Fridays now.
I know. It's like the best commentary I've ever seen running.
It's a little distracting for us, but that's okay. I think that's part of the magic. So you definitely want to check out the show live if you can.
Yeah.
And you can do that just on thisweekend.com.
And Fridays at 4 o'clock.
Yeah. So that was cool. I'm very interested. I honestly wish I had been playing with the app a little bit more beforehand. Yeah. I'm going to check it out a little bit more. Like I said, I'm not a big TV viewer, but it looks like there's other stuff, other verticals I can get into there.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, I just love that everything's all in one location. I don't want to have separate apps and separate websites that I'm interacting with for these services. And I saw initially, when you log in, that it's connected Facebook.
Of course.
Seamless. Great.
Yeah.
Great.
Nice and easy to set up. Great to onboard.
Yeah.
Great.
It's great too, actually, to supplement. Like for example, Netflix. I'm a big Netflix user, but their recommendations I don't find particularly useful. But if you have the browser extension plugged in, it will automatically track what pages you're viewing and sort of kind of give you an additional recommendation.
It's funny that you mentioned that because when I saw the like and the dislike, it very much reminded me of Netflix.
Yeah.
And then. Yeah, I never had much luck with them either for that sort of thing.
Yeah, I did notice that too. I think discovery will be big in the future. We'll talk a little bit about what Twitter's doing for user discovery. I noticed in the video, and as I played with the site, it was like, you should check out this because you did this. Yeah. So it's learning from my actions. It's getting very Skynet, which is great. Yeah. Wonderful. All right, well, on that note, let's go to the news. What's happening this week?
So big news this week, and it was actually, before we jumped here in the show, it was causing a lot of problems on some websites, but Twitter released basically took over the tweet button from TweetMeme. They basically sealed up a deal with TweetMeme to license the technology. TweetMeme obviously is the company that does the retweet button. Currently, before the deal went down, there's 750 million impressions that they were doing a day, which is pretty huge. So now Twitter has an official tweet button that's going to be implemented on all sites now. And TweetMeme, who was doing the Twitter button, is actually going to be shifting away from the consumer stuff and focusing more on enterprise. Yeah. And they're actually going to be launching a project, which they just did a couple days ago, called Datasift, which is basically interacting with the Twitter stream, the fire hose, and creating some sort of cohesiveness and sense out of all the tweets. So the first thing I have to say about this button is I cannot stand
Well, you don't like the way
logo.
It looks?
I want to see it again.
Let's take a look. So
there's the official logo.
Screen? Can we zoom in on the actual? Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, I'll pull up the. This is the official page where you can actually build your. Actually, the other link would be better. So that's the official logo. It's the same one that's on the iPhone app.
Yep.
And I'm just not a fan.
He's cute.
It's funny. I mean, this Twitter, with all the press and all the money and everything else, that's actually an image from iStock Photo that they've taken and adopted as kind of their icon. Same with the Failwell. It's an independent artist who made that, and they just kind of adopted it. So I got to say, when I saw them go with that, I was not crazy about it either. It's it's kind of whatever. Can we go through the process? Because I do think they've done this well. And then let's talk about some of the drama associated with TweetMeme, because there's a little bit of backstory.
Yeah, so they had, I think if I pull up their blog post here, they have a video I could probably play.
Oh, sure. Let's play it.
All right.
I don't think you have audio, though.
Twitter's tweet button is the easiest way to share your favorite content with followers around the web. When you want to share a link, all you have to do is click the tweet button. If you're already logged on to twitter.com, Twitter will automatically add a link and @mention an account the website specifies ahead of time. Then just add your message and hit tweet. Another great feature of the tweet button is the ability to follow specific accounts after a tweet is sent. The website can choose the accounts they like and want to share with their followers. After choosing to follow accounts or closing the overlay window, you are able to continue viewing the exact same site you were looking at before. The count on the tweet button will increase each time a link is shared. We provide a comprehensive count for each URL, regardless if it is shared through the tweet button, on twitter.com, or through any of the other Twitter clients available to users. If you're a website owner and want to make your content easy to share, you can grab the tweet button and have it on your site in 3 easy steps by going to twitter.com/tweetbutton. Twitter's tweet button, the easiest way to share your favorite content from the web on Twitter.
problem with that video. She sounded so bored.
A little boring, the twanginess.
Yeah.
Normally
With the banjo?
they do pretty good videos. They did a really great video about employment. Maybe we'll watch that another time. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, once again, Twitter, before they were doing so much and they're having scale issues and all these other things, they looked to the independent community to build the tweet meme button, to build the app that was eventually acquired. They've done the same thing here where it's like, okay, cool, we figured out all our big issues. Now let's start gobbling or replacing the external community with our own. And so in regards to tweet meme, like I'm glad that they made a deal with tweet meme. Nick won't write back to me, but I'm assuming that money exchanged hands in this. It's a licensing deal, basically. I'm hoping it was a lot of money because Nick's a good guy. He deserves all that money. This is the CEO of TweetMeme. And so at least what they've done now is they've partnered with the company. They've done a deal with them. They didn't just wipe them out because they really could have when you think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, are you going to adopt the external one or the official one?
Yeah.
Probably going to go the official one. The other one's going to slowly die. And they're really both great products. My favorite thing is the who to follow. I got to say, that is great for publishers.
Yeah, it's great because, I mean, essentially, each website can create their own independent suggested user list. I'm not sure can it do lists, if you can do lists, or is it just
you can only select 2, which is interesting.
Yeah.
I think it's because they don't want you to get this big box of like 20 people. And really, when you think about it, if you look at a big list of maybe 10, you're probably only going to select 2 anyway. So they're trying to just distill that down to what's really valuable. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's a great product. What happened today, though? It went down, and it basically
so
brought down
basically
websites?
the code or something was causing problems on sites. It was taking sites down. Mashable had issues, and basically any publisher who was using the new button.
That's not good.
Was essentially
that never happened with Tweet.
Went down. So
fail whale.
Yeah. So they failed whale a bunch of sites. So hey, growing pains. It's new. It's a newborn. I know about newborns. They scream sometimes. So good for Twitter. I've actually put it on all my sites, and despite the logo, it's no good. The chat room has brought up a very important issue here. Something about your bracelet. Perhaps your bracelet should be the logo.
Something about you being a human mood detector.
Yeah,
what is that thing?
It's called a power balance bracelet.
Wow. Can we get that on camera?
There we go. I've been getting so much crap for this thing. Basically,
what is this?
It's supposed to give you greater sense of balance. But
Can we see you stand on one foot?
The scientific evidence proves otherwise. It's like a hologram inside a plastic bracelet, pretty much. So.
But it's not connected at all to the sudden orange shirt that we're seeing you in.
No connection.
Good to know.
So listen, I'm never leaving again. I go away from a week, and this guy's got
Put
a power
it on
bracelet
Sean. Maybe
on.
next week Sean will show up with a yellow shirt.
You know, I wear a bracelet too, which is not as cool. My wife gave this to me when we were dating, so it's more cute as opposed to balance. But it's interesting because it reminds me of these magnetic bracelets that they used to always sell in the back of like Popular Mechanics, where you'd put it on, it would, increase your life and grow parts of your body.
I actually I did the magnetic soles for a while. So like the soles.
In your shoes?
Yeah. Don't ask.
I'm glad that I'm sitting a little further away from you than I normally do. That's all I have to say. I want to get back to Twitter, though, because there was a lot of other stuff that happened this week.
What else happened?
Well, it all blew up today, actually, and so I didn't actually get to read extensively about it. But I hear there was a who to follow.
That's true. So Twitter, along with the recommending who to follow, and they've been doing the suggested thing for you. I forget exactly what they call that. Let's take a look at this because they're really trying to juice up your relevant followers, and this is another tool for that. You have that on your screen?
So I have Alex's Twitter account here, who we just talked to, and
mutual relationships. That's what they're exposing. Great.
So there's a list up here at the top, and then they also have who you both follow on the sidebar.
Right.
I cannot tell you how much I love this because this is one of my favorite features on Facebook.
It is nice.
Because it takes stalking to a whole new level. And it's especially handy for me deciding when I want to follow people back or not. Because I go to their profile, I'm looking at them, and then it tells me who we have in common. So then I see if we have no one in common that they're just some bot or a kook.
Sure.
And then if we have you guys in common, then I'm like, oh, this is a social media peep. Or if we have actor friends, oh, it's from an actor group of mine. Like,
or if it's a bunch of guys that you used to date, then you're like okay, you block that.
Oh, it's, yeah.
Because he's obviously been talking to Joe Schmo.
Yeah, spreading the good word about me.
Yeah. I think it's great, and I do the same thing on Facebook, I gotta say, is I tend to accept everyone, but I love seeing, like, who is this person, and I don't know, I guess I'm drawing conclusions a little bit, but you may want to put them in a certain list, you may want to block them, you may not want them to see that scandalous photo of you.
I've been running a party favors game where I say, hey, I'm going to add you on Facebook. Do you want to do the over-under on how many mutual friends we have?
Interesting.
That's
you made it a betting.
Great
you made that
party
drinking game, too.
Yeah, great drinking game. You have to take a shot for every mutual friend we have in common. For some people, that hurts because 54 friends in common.
That's funny. Amanda brought up in the chat room something a few people have brought in, that actually, if you wanted to be grammatically correct, you would say whom to follow.
Oh,
as
I'm
opposed
sorry.
to who.
Whom to
no,
follow.
but Twitter is calling it who to follow as well too. So
are they calling it who to
follow? You know
follow?
what, Amanda? It's Twitter. They have limited amount of characters. You gotta condense it down.
I'm dropping my M's everywhere.
Me too. No more M's. M's are done. But yeah, lots coming out of Twitter. They're really interested in owning your social graph. I don't see this beyond more competition with Facebook. I guess that's what it comes down to.
Agreed.
So switching gears a little bit, you brought my attention to this next story. It's basically chat roulette for email, which when I first heard that, I was kind of curious, what does that mean? Basically, this site called Invisible Note. It's invisiblenote.com, so if I pull it up here. Basically, all it is you enter in a handle or a username at invisiblenote.com, and then you enter in your email address, and then you can basically type a message. And if another person sends an email to the same username at invisiblenote.com, it basically connects you two together and gives you, exchanges email addresses. So it's kind of like a modern version of the message in a bottle. So, what do you guys think of this?
Who did the design? Was it Craigslist that did the design on that
awful.
site?
And it's really bad.
I mean,
will you harvest my email?
I mean, yeah. Why don't you take my organs while you're at it? I don't know. Like,
how can I believe you?
It's interesting. Fonts, CSS, they're pretty cool. They work. I don't know, Julina, what do you think? This is your baby. This scares me.
And I don't know why this was so attractive to me. Maybe just because in my mind, summer equals pen pals. You go to camp and you connect with people, and I just feel like, look, I don't have the time or the postage or the money to be sending real life letters, but I still want to meet strange people all over the world. I just think
is that why you moved to LA?
I think this could be fun and cool, given sort of this is a different version of Twitter, but I miss actually having. Remember when you used to date online and you would send these emails and you would just write pages and pages? That never happens anymore.
I mean, in my case, I don't know if I'd call it dating. It's more of stooping. But I mean, yeah, I did.
But didn't you have to send pages of emails in order to stoop?
Yeah, I think it was more of a lot of IM investment. But I mean, the amount the text to booty ratio is pretty extensive. It's probably 10,000 words before you get to first base, I would say.
Well, not anymore. I think that it's so socially acceptable for you to just meet people that I'm sure on these dating sites. Hey, I like your profile. Let's meet. Okay, cool. Or great. Here's my phone number. Call me. Whereas before it was more dangerous, and so you used to spend more time actually developing these online email relationships.
It's true. You had to really vet those stalkers. Yeah. I noticed that there was some commercial for Zeusk that's going out a lot, and I noticed that the options are like message, wink, and play a game, and I was like, it's interesting. There seemed to be more emphasis on winking or playing a game actually. That's the best way to get in there, and I was like, a wink. I was like, what is this? Is this like 1940s? That's how you flirt with someone and get their attention? You wink at them?
When people poke me, I remove it immediately. I'm just like, I don't have the time for this. If you can't
you're talking about Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, that's why the winking wouldn't work on me. If you don't have the time or the interest to actually write me a thoughtful, snarky, witty kind of email or message, then I don't want to go out on a date with you.
It wouldn't be a good show if we didn't talk about the nuances of dating Julina online. Just so we know, and so the guys that's sitting in the back room have a crush on you, what's the best way if you're trying to pick up on a girl? How do you approach them on a social network? Do you start with the really long novel? Do you start with a paragraph? Do you make them laugh? How do you do it?
You definitely start with a note that is short and sweet, but catchy. You have to say something of interest, and usually you have to tease them a little bit, because that gets, but not teasing like, you look fat in that photo.
Sure.
Because I've had guys do that before, and I'm just like, you realize that you calling me vapid or making a nasty comment on my status update doesn't make me want to talk to you. That's an instant block. But it works on some girls, I hear.
So how would they do this? They would maybe look at some of your activity and then kind of spawn a really funny, quirky thing to say about that.
Yeah.
Something that draws you in so that you have to defend yourself or you want to retort.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. That's actually the best way to communicate with me in life, is to comment on my emo Facebook status updates or to retweet my tweets with commentary.
With a vengeance?
Yeah.
With commentary.
I like that.
There you go. Dating Tips 101. We always want to make sure we get in there because we know that people don't get laid enough in this world. All right. Now that we've derailed Invisible Note, if you're interested, check them out. If you know CSS, please drop them a line. What else is going on in the news?
Well, before we roll out, I hear that I hear MySpace had a revamp.
MySpace did have a
You've
revamp.
just been keeping that on the down low. You didn't want to share that with us, did you?
Well, no, I do. Can we pull it up and take a look?
Yeah, let's see it.
And essentially what has happened here, and Ben Parr, who I sent him an email and it said, you are Mr. Exclusive. He keeps breaking things, so congrats to Ben Parr on this. Essentially what we've done is we've redone what we call our user homepage. It's in preview right now. It'll go out to all users next week. I don't know if you've seen what it was before, but it was kind of a hot mess. It was 3 columns. There was so much going on. We've really simplified it. It's a 2-column layout. They've done a good job here. I can't take credit, I didn't do the design or anything, but like, I think what they did is they drew a lot of inspiration from Brizzly. I don't know if you guys use that. We're doing a lot of inline media. What's weird about Facebook, although they do it really well, is that middle column is so narrow.
Yeah.
But they're able to fit it in. They make it work. For us, it didn't work, so we've actually broadened that. You see how much you have a ton of space there. Photos are going to be larger than what you're seeing right now. Videos play inline, so you get the whole thing right there, you know, everything else. And so, yeah, it's kind of a sneak peek. And then, of course, recommendations on the right rail. This is really big. We want to recommend until you're sick of recommendations. We've started exposing mutual relationships like everyone else these days. There's a lot of rollover, a lot of what they call a tooltip or a flip card, a hover card, I forget. There's all these cute UI things that they like to use. And so yeah, it's essentially the first step to our relaunch, which is coming sometime in October. We're kind of dropping a few things and then we drop the bomb in October from there.
Awesome.
So yeah, it looks good. I know you guys don't use it because you're too cool, but if you're interested, dig your login out from the email grave and check it out and see what you think.
I have to tell you, since I've started being on the show with you, I've been more aware of MySpace, and I find that a lot of my friends are still going in.
Yeah, it's interesting, and I noticed Ashton was tweeting about us the other day. I don't know if we can pull that up really quick while I'm rambling, but like, we talk within the office that there is we finally got this momentum going, and I like to also joke sometimes that we got the paddles charged up and we're ready to just yell clear on it. So yeah, I mean, MySpace they kind of bottomed out and you didn't hear a lot, and it's amazing now as I'm watching my stream and I'm seeing people talk about MySpace without me prodding them to talk about them. So that's interesting. Oh, he was talking about the new app. We won't talk about that. That's more of an iPad show. I think if you go down a little bit, yeah, go one more, get the next screen. Doing a lot of tweeting these days.
Oh, Twitter.
Oh, something went wrong. Hey, this is why you don't do anything live. There's a comment in the chat room about Robert Deirdrick using MySpace. Yeah.
Love
So he's really funny. He actually
Deirdrick.
came and spoke to us, and once again he talked about how he used to use us to meet girls and so forth. And
I love him so much. I don't know why I'm obsessed with him.
yeah. Oh, I think scroll up a little bit. I think you lost it. This is not going so smooth. But anyway, we had Ashton out to the office. We look at Ashton, and of course he's kind of an edge case because nobody has this type of following and so forth. But we showed him the new stuff. He was really impressed. He was nice enough to tweet about it. So thank you, Ashton. There you go. And they took him through showed him all of our secrets and all the new stuff. He says it could turn the tide. I think that's really nice of him to say. It's less about turning the tide really and more about just building a better product, which I think they've done, and now we just got to get that thing out the door.
Well, that was nice of him. That was really cool that you guys are engaging on a one-on-one basis with influencers.
I'm really trying to. I brought Jamie Kennedy out. We brought all these people into the office to try and be like, how can we make this thing better? I've been talking to some of what we call our regs, our forum users, which are an interesting breed, and I love talking with them and getting their very, very long, extensive feedback.
They're very opinionated, I'm sure.
I don't know. It's tough when you have a company that big to listen to your users because it's insane. And what I notice about like Facebook is every time they do a blog post, if you look at that comment thread, it's almost all spam and then product recommendations. Where's my unlike button? Where's this? You guys should do that. Like, it's so hard to take all that information and to distill it into something that you can use.
Well, and everybody thinks they've got a great idea.
Everyone
thinks that they're original and that their original idea is,
It's true. So thank you. Before we get too pluggy, I'm going to stop talking about MySpace.
Oh no,
how are we doing on time? We got 5 minutes left, roughly 6 minutes.
Couple fun stories.
Yeah. What else do you have? Oh,
but first, the intro.
Great moments in social media.
Thank you guys. I still, even though it's been going on 9 weeks, love that package
Still
roll.
great. Yep.
I think it's the best thing ever.
So this was kind of a funny story. So this week there was this big story that appeared on TechCrunch in large part because of the picture that appeared. But basically this girl quit her job on dry erase boards. Supposedly she had emailed these 33 photos to her coworkers. And it'd probably take a while to go through all the photos, so we won't. But basically this entire sequence went through, ending in her quitting her job. And it turned out that this was a hoax. It was reported on TechCrunch. TechCrunch reported it. And this was the same group, the Chive, which was behind a couple other big rumors, Donald Trump and another one. But it was kind of funny. I thought it was kind of amusing.
It was super amusing. My favorite part, and this is the only reason why I was like, I can tie this back to this week in social media, is the tagline at the end that goes, "You spend 20-something hours on Farmville every week." And I didn't question this at all. It never crossed my mind that this would be fake. Of course he spends 20 hours a week on Farmville. You know?
I know. I gotta say, like, I'm really good at seeing these things.
Yeah.
And I was just so entertained by it. I immediately retweeted it.
Yeah.
I immediately thought it was real, and then it wasn't until a few people I really respect who kind of said, "Hey, wait a minute, something's not right. You guys are idiots." And I was like, "Oh my God, they're right. That's totally a fake."
I'll tell you, yeah.
And I should have thought back about the Chive, because the Chive totally does this all the time.
That's what it was. Someone just put it in the chat room.
Yeah.
She's excessively attractive to be a banker or whatever it was, a broker. You know, I wanted to be a broker, and I was looking at this girl being like, "You're way too pretty to be."
But I thought she was an admin, and like, no specific examples, but like, admins are sometimes pretty good looking.
Yeah.
Here's my question though. I think this was filmed in Los Angeles, correct?
Yes.
And they did a casting call in Los Angeles.
And it was posted on Actors Access. I probably submitted on it. In fact, I should go back because I can do this. I'm going to go back through my submitteds on Actors Access and find out if I submitted myself to be this girl.
That would have been really funny.
They should have called me in for the audition.
I wish that would have been you, because I would have immediately known it was fake.
Yeah, everybody would have known it was fake.
Do you think
there's
you're,
that girl from Gig.
And then the big thing too is this acronym that kind of came out that I wasn't even familiar with, HOPA, or HPOA, essentially a hot piece of ass. Had you guys even heard of this before that?
No.
No.
Is this what, like, I don't know, I guess this is what horrible, nasty, sleazy execs say?
I guess
It's
so.
either hot piece of ass or hot office piece of ass? Is that how it breaks down?
Yeah, it was reporting they were doing HOPA in the story, and then
HOPA! That reminds me of like, HOPA! And you take the
Yeah.
plate and you smash it, you know? So the Chive, unfortunately, no one will ever believe anything they do.
Yep.
Still a great site, still funny as hell. It's a very small team. They've done really well. So congrats to them. They managed to pull it off again.
And talk about a way to go hugely viral for the cost of nothing, essentially. You know, I think she got paid $400 to do it.
Wow.
And then
I'm assuming they made $400 in ad revenue. The thing got 100-something thousand Facebook shares, which is epic.
Yeah.
It's not often you see the Facebook share button with a little K on it to indicate how many thousand was there. So when I saw that, I knew that it had really gone insanely viral.
yeah, way to go, guys.
Yeah, I'm noticing my hair, because I'm always worried about my hair. Because I've been busy, like, it's a little too long, don't you think?
I think it's really light.
And it's a little light too. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe fatherhood has dyed it. I certainly haven't left the house, so I don't know what that is. Do we have anything else? Oh, we do. God, this is great. Please tell me more about this.
This came out a couple weeks ago, but we didn't talk about it last week, so I figured we'd bring it up. And they're going to have to bleep me here. But basically, it's what the fuck is my social media strategy.com. And
oh, this is great.
Basically, this site offers insightful wisdom on reaching your potential customers using social media, and some of the phrases you might hear from so-called social media experts. So if we could pull up my screen.
Let's take a look at a few of these, because man, these are so I
have to tell
awesome.
you guys, I spent about 20 minutes just clicking and laughing, because the more you read, the more ridiculous it sounds. Amplify word of mouth by motivating influencers. Target influencers with engaging assets to act as platforms for conversation.
Oh, God.
Maximize the customer experience, driving engagement and bringing the brand alive.
So basically, the site it cycles through these. You can keep on clicking to listen to these things. So what do you guys think about this? Is this kind of the verbiage you hear on a daily basis from people?
Pretty much. My eyes are watering. It's so funny. Yeah, I mean, they're really capturing the sentiment of all these wonderful social media experts who have come into this world. And I think it's just, the problem is they were all like in real estate, and real estate collapsed. And so they're very good at talking BS, and boy.
It sounds like nothing. It sounds like they're saying nothing,
yeah.
essentially, which was what was... Yeah, I'm crying too.
I know, like, literally, I'm literally watering. Who made that site? Do you have any background on this?
I don't have the background.
Okay.
But if you want to check it out, go to whatthefismysocialmediastrategy.com and enjoy yourself, because it's entertaining.
And if you're trying to get that big social media job, just basically cut and paste that, send that off to the execs, and they'll hire you in a second. We're running out of time, so we're going to wrap it up. As always, we wanted to send out our final thank you to PicClick. PicClick is a visual search engine. Please check them out at picclick.com. Send out a mighty tweet thanking them for sponsoring the show. Just say thank you at PicClick for sponsoring This Week in Social Media. We will be back next week as always, and thanks again.